A light drizzle had settled over the city, painting the sidewalks with a silvery sheen and draping everything in the kind of melancholy that made people retreat indoors. But Sarah remained outside. With a plastic bag of marked-down groceries, clutched tightly in her hand, she hurried across the street toward her apartment, an aging two-bedroom unit with creaky floorboards and a heater that worked only when it felt generous. She was late. Again. The daycare where she worked part-time had kept her after closing so she could mop up a toddler's accident. Her feet ached, her stomach growled, and her thoughts bounced between the bills piling on her kitchen counter and the growing list of missed opportunities in her life. As she reached her building, she spotted a boy, maybe 7 or 8, sitting alone on the stoop next door. He was soaked through, hugging his knees, lips trembling not just from the cold but from something deeper. Hunger. She paused, looked around. No adults, no one nearby. The boy looked up at her, and in that moment, Sarah recognized the expression etched on his small face. She had worn it herself once, long ago, a hollow mix of fear and longing. "Hey," she said softly, stepping closer. "Where's your mom or dad?" The boy shook his head. "I don't know. He told me to wait here while he took a call, but it's been a long time." Sarah sat on the step beside him, rain soaking through the back of her thrift store jacket. "Are you hungry?" He nodded, almost ashamed. She hesitated, knowing the food in her bag was barely enough for her and her 4-year-old daughter, Ellie. But somehow she couldn't walk past him. She sighed and stood. "Come on, just across the hall. We'll get you something warm." He hesitated, then stood too, clutching his little backpack. His shoes squelched with each step. Inside her apartment, the lights were dim. Ellie came running from the couch, arms outstretched. "Mommy!" "Hey, baby," Sarah said, picking her up. What's your name, sweetie?" "Leo," the boy whispered. "Well, Leo's going to have some dinner with us, okay?" Ellie nodded cheerfully. "Okay." Sarah didn't have much. A can of soup, some day-old bread, an apple she split 3 ways. But she warmed everything carefully and made sure Leo had the biggest portion. He ate like he hadn't in days. She watched him, trying not to imagine where his father had gone. When dinner was over, she let him borrow one of Ellie's soft shirts and tucked him on the couch with a blanket. Ellie was already nodding off beside him. She sat in the kitchen, staring at the clock. It was nearing midnight. Then, 3 loud knocks. She opened the door cautiously. A man stood there, tall, wet, his suit clinging to him. His eyes were wild with worry. "Is there a little boy here? About this high?" He gestured frantically. "My son. I left him for a moment." Sarah stepped aside, pointing. The man rushed past her and dropped to his knees beside Leo. The boy woke, groggy, but safe. "Daddy?" he mumbled. "You came back." "I'm so sorry," the man whispered, kissing his forehead. "I thought the call would be 5 minutes, not an hour. I couldn't find you." Sarah watched quietly. The man turned, his eyes meeting hers. I don't know how to thank you," he said. "It's okay," Sarah replied. "He was just cold and hungry. I did what anyone would have done." But the man looked at her differently, like he knew not just what she did but what it cost her. "I'm Adam," he said. "Adam Cole." She nodded, unsure why that name sounded familiar. "I owe you more than I can say," he added, eyes soft. "Please let me pay for the meal, or help somehow." She shook her head. "I don't need anything, just take care of him." He opened his mouth to say more, but then paused, looked at her apartment, the threadbare curtains, the chipped paint, the broken heater humming faintly. He left that night, Leo in his arms. The next morning, Sarah was up before dawn. She had an interview for a cleaning job at a hotel across town. Ellie was still asleep, her tiny hand gripping the edge of her faded stuffed rabbit. But when Sarah stepped outside, something was different. A sleek black car was parked in front of her building. The window rolled down. "Morning," said Adam, now in a dry, tailored suit. Sarah blinked. "You again?" "I've been looking into you," he said. "I owe you. But it turns out Leo does too. He's never stopped talking about you and Ellie." She gave a half smile. "He's a sweet kid." Adam stepped out, pulling something from his coat pocket. A business card. CEO, Colson Enterprises. That's why the name sounded familiar. "I run a foundation," he said. "We fund child development centers, shelters, programs for working parents. I think someone like you should be running one of those programs. Full salary, training, housing assistance." She stared at the card, confused. "Why me?" "Because you didn't ask for anything. Because you shared your food when you had none to spare. Because you have something. This city needs more than money, heart." She was speechless. He added gently, "You changed my son's life. Let me change yours." In the weeks that followed, everything shifted. Sarah started working at a brand new children's center Adam had fast-tracked funding for. She had training, staff to help her, and resources to offer mothers who were just like she used to be, scared and alone. Her apartment was upgraded. Ellie had toys, books, and a heater that actually worked. But the biggest change was the slow friendship that blossomed between her and Adam. He visited the center often, with Leo in tow, and the two families spent more and more time together. One evening, months later, as Sarah and Adam watched their children playing under golden streetlights, he turned to her and said, "You didn't just help Leo. You helped me. I forgot what it meant to trust, to be human." Sarah smiled. "Then we helped each other." He reached for her hand. For the first time in years, Sarah didn't feel like she was surviving. She felt like she was beginning. And it had all started with a bowl of soup and a heart that refused to turn away.